Welcome, everybody listening. This is the Unlock Life podcast, and today I have Ashur. Ashur is very close to my heart, especially this past 3 months, because I invited him on as a guest facilitator for the women who are working in my group program space. It's been unbelievable and exactly what I had hoped for. Following the first time I met you, Ashur, which was in El Salvador in November, I heavily documented it on Instagram. People who have been following me will know that I was out there and it changed my life in so many ways. You were a big piece of that. Hence why I wanted to bring you into the work that I do here with the women in my space. Welcome in. I think now would be a nice time for people who are listening to get a little idea of what it is that you do work-wise and what you're currently doing.
I primarily work as a connection coach. And what that means is I invite people into greater connection with themselves so you can authentically be in connection with the world around you. And this results in just like feeling more alive, feeling less exhausted, feeling more connected, feeling present at every moment in your life rather than like a passive participant. You know that the goals you're chasing are your goals, not the programming of someone else. Feeling great in your life by being in connection with whatever individual vessel desires and wants. I like teaching embodiment through contact improv dance, teaching people boundaries by engaging with the physical boundaries of your body in connection with another person, often a stranger. For those who don't know, it's an improvised form of physical contact dance with a stranger. Most of the people we work with are not necessarily dancers. I also do a lot of authentic relating groups. I'll take groups of people and engage in a variety of authentic relating activities. I work with groups, and on the connection coaching side, I see individuals. I've been working with a lot of couples, navigating communication. How do I fully be in connection with me so I can express to you what it's like to be me? And then I hold a space where the other person can hear it. I'm launching a group program called the Life Blueprint System, where I ask people, what is it that you desire? What do you want in your life? And what's stopping you right now? And we investigate the merit of those obstacles. You know, some people might stop programming because they're afraid someone won't receive it well. And we see if those obstacles have merit. This is also after my background's in neuroscience and philosophy. I work as a neurofeedback therapist. So I train people's brains using a neurofeedback device. It's seeking greater brain regulation. Some people would assert that anything that you would treat with a pharmaceutical is a result of dysregulated brain waves. So instead of using a pharmacological intervention, you use direct regulation of brain waves. So that's my background. And I really like scuba diving, swimming, and being in nature and dancing.
We need to get an idea of you as well, not just what you do, but the actual individual. And we'll definitely get into that because that's one of my favorite things in this podcast to go into. Yes, there's going to be guests on here and they are specialists in whatever field, but the whole idea is the unlocked life. How did you unlock yourself to get to where you are now? What was your passage? But also, of course, how do you help other people too? I spoke to a lot of people whenever I came back from El Salvador about the improv contact dance, about the circling activities and things like that. So I would love to get a little bit more into that and then also move into the unlocked life part. I'll share one of our first encounters to give people a little bit of context on how you practically work with people. I had gone over to El Salvador and I started feeling a particular way about someone in the group. I noticed I had emotions, I had feelings for someone. And I also was noticing, okay, this is reciprocated. And there is something about whenever I am one-to-one with this person, it doesn't feel good. I was getting feelings of confusion, like, am I making this up? Do they like me? Do I feel this way? It was very strange to me because it has been a while since I met someone that I did feel attracted to, honestly. So whenever I was over there, I was like, yeah, I feel great. This is awesome. And then the story, as you call it, or the triggers or the like weird sticky stuff around, I suppose, self-worth or feeling really good in yourself in relation to other people started to come up. I remember
Well, I actually just want to pause right there. As you're calling it, I'm recalling exactly the situation. How many times do we have the experience where let me just say, it feels really good to be liked. No matter who's liking you, whether it's reciprocated, whether it's not, whether you've known them for years or just met them, it feels really good to be liked. And to be carried away with that experience is very common. And that's when, Maria, as you're describing it, I'm literally like, yeah, you lost track of you
Yeah.
because someone's like of you is so intoxicatingly strong.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, yes, happens to everyone. If someone likes me, I'm like, oh, maybe I do like them. Yeah, I must like them. They like me. I just want to pause and honor that for you and for anyone listening. It feels really good to be liked. Savor it, enjoy it, and then slow down and think about what it's like being liked.
Completely. And thank God you were there, Ashur, because I remember I was in the kitchen one morning and you had come in and you were like, hey, Maria, how are you? And I knew when Ashur asks you how you are, he means it. He wants to know how you are. Where I come from, it's so normal for us to be like, great, go on. You know, there's pleasantries really disguise and shield us for most of the time. But I just knew, I was like, I'm okay. You were like, okay. My feeling is there's something more to this, but we're in the kitchen and anybody can walk in here. Do you want to go and have a conversation somewhere more private? And I was like, yeah, we do. And so we went up, we found a little space, and it doesn't take long for me to cry. Like I cry instantly, which I really like about myself because it helps me regulate massively. I remember crying and being confused with why do I feel so emotional and upset about this? Bear in mind, it had only been a few days, but it felt really intense in my body. And I remember you saying to me, this is actually not about that person. This is about something bigger, something that's been here a while. And I remember you bringing my attention to this idea of it feels like you're lost, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, it feels like I've lost myself. I think you get so used, especially as a single person, especially if you work with someone, which I do, around patterns and stories and childhood limiting beliefs and all of the things that you're working with in your program as well. And yet, when you are then faced with other people and new emotions and all of that, it just is a whole other realm that you can't really delve into on your own. Would you say that's right?
The capacity and the necessity for humans to have co-regulation. It's like absolutely essential. I mean, this gets really philosophical quickly and we don't have to dive into it, but I believe the base agreement we make with each other is you confirm and you validate that I exist, and I will confirm and validate for you that you exist. When something knocks us up, like when you're having a big experience, nothing that will replace a human coming and giving you container for it, giving you just boundedness. It's like, oh, okay, I'm having a feeling and that's okay to have a feeling. I'm safe. It's not that I'm going to float untethered away. The experience you're describing in El Salvador is the same experience that people have when I do this embodiment workshop with contact dance. I do one like blindfolded dance. Well, I do many, but like one of them is person with their eyes closed is leading, and the person with their eyes open is the one providing the container. And that person with their eyes closed gets to go wherever they want. The person with the eyes open just creates a container.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I'm not going to close my eyes with a stranger. And the reality is having that person touch you to create the boundary is actually the safest part of that. It's like, oh my God, I have boundedness. I have container. People think of boundaries as keeping things out. And a lot of times boundaries is about actually giving us an understanding of where we are in space.
I've never thought of boundaries that way.
Yeah, actually, I won't do that because that pushes up against where I'm willing to go, not where I'm willing to let you go. So yeah, you were having all sorts of experience. I didn't need to know any of the context, who it was, any of the details. None of the gossip is important to me. I just see you having experience and I can provide a container for it.
And it was perfect.
Allow you to push, explore.
And I remember after that session that had nothing to do, we didn't go into that, as you say, the context, the situation, the people, none of that really mattered. It was about me and what I was feeling. The main thing you helped me work through was this idea of when we come into relation with other people, or when we're relating to other people, how can we still remain with ourselves? This was a new feeling and I was like, ugh. You just tend to lose grip of yourself, I guess, and then start looking around and what's going on and what are they thinking. As you say, it's really hard because it's such a lovely feeling to know that you are liked by others. But that really changed the rest of the trip. Thank goodness that I was able to have that lovely container with you. I would love for you to speak on that a little bit more, because definitely, I mean, I even noticed myself these thoughts coming up a few weeks ago, Asher. I would love at some point with the right person to be in a relationship and to be in a partnership, but there's fears also of like, I just enjoy things so much. I enjoy being in charge of my life a lot. I love the idea of the comfort and the lack of emotional probing that you get when I'm on my own. I started noticing these fears of, oh God, what if I can't trust myself? What if I lose myself when I do meet the right person? I know that would have a tendency to push that sort of thing away, those fears for people. But yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Thinking as I'm hearing you, that sounds like a very strong story you got there.
Yeah.
Like there's an element of just like who says or what is informing you that you would lose yourself in relationship with another? Is it past experience? Is it like romantic comedies? Is it the notion of love that's been promulgated to all of us today? If you had a practice of like, hey, am I losing myself right now? That would probably inform whether or not you lose yourself. I don't know who that person is for you or where that person is, but just imagine what it would be like to be in relationship with someone and to be able to have the freedom to savor your own autonomy, your ability to not be emotionally probed when you don't want to be and to be so when you want. It's just a matter of knowing what you want and asking it of the outside world, asking it of the person, the partner around you or the friends around you or just the world in general. Like it's some notion that relationship is exclusive of Maria's autonomy. And it's totally negating the fact that it's very possible that in relationship, you're like, oh my God, I would love to surrender some of my autonomy into this. And people would get into conversations about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. There might be a time when you're like, holy shit, I love being held and guided by this masculine form at this moment. Like I love surrendering my autonomy. But there's some notion that's like, I could give it up. I could lose myself. And I would say the fear of that does nothing for you. The only way to engage with that and prevent that is to be with it in the moment, like you did in El Salvador. I'm having this experience. It feels good. And I feel with this person one-on-one, it does not feel good. It is you engaging with the experience in the present moment. So the invitation is you get into a beautiful relationship and you're loving it and you notice yourself getting carried away. Or you even set up systems like, hey, I know I have a propensity to get carried away with how intense it feels to be liked by someone. So I'm going to check in with myself 3 days into meeting someone. Hey, how's this feeling? Have I surrendered parts of myself I don't want to surrender? Oh, I have. Okay. What do I do now?
And does it need to go deeper than that in terms of if you catch it and you notice it? Is it just a case of the awareness is strong enough for you to then make different decision in that moment?
One of my greatest teachers is my mom. She is a brilliant woman who has done many years of her own work after many years of trauma. One of the main foundational pieces of the program I run now, the Life Blueprint System, is awareness, acceptance, action. So you say, does it go deeper than awareness? Yeah, awareness is the first step. You become aware of it. You accept that that's what's happening. Oh my God, I'm being carried away because someone likes, and it feels so good. Then don't move from that spot for a minute. Literally bask in it. Like someone likes me and it feels so good. And then when it's the right time, action. What do I want to do with it? What would happen if I let this person, if you surrender yourself because it feels so good to be liked, it will feel good until it doesn't. You will probably lose yourself and there will probably be resentment. Is there a way back from that? Yes. Is it much harder than stopping at the level of awareness, acceptance, and then acting on it preemptively? Much, much easier till you're in a deep, committed relationship with someone and you've already created that pattern of behavior because it felt so good to be liked. So yeah, I would say do it preemptively if you notice awareness isn't enough. Acceptance is necessary, but action is how you make change.
And would you say, well, I sort of know the answer to this one, but one of the things, Ashur, that really stood out to me about you. So whenever I met Ashur, I told this to the girls in our program as well. I was just so awestruck by the lack of disingenuine, but the sort of language that you use, everything that you said, I feel, okay, he means that. He's so intentional with what he says. My question is in regards to relationships. Would you say the big factor is your ability to breathe honesty with whoever it is?
I mean, Maria, right now you're touching something relatively intense. I was dishonest with myself and with others for a while, and then I promised to never do it again. And that's what brought about the way I am now. I'm single. Like, I'm not in a committed relationship right now. The truth is, it shifted relatively recently, but I really want family. I want a partner. The thing that I desire is very high. It is a very high standard. I'm not talking about high standard of person that would be
Yeah.
required, but the level of trust that I need in my partner. And I don't just mean trust that they wouldn't betray me. I mean trust that what they are doing in the world is of equally profound, powerful implementation as what I do. So if they say, let's do it this way, and I say, let's do it this way, even if I disagree, I trust you enough to know that you have some sound reason for doing it that way. We can continue to talk, we can compromise, or we can do it your way, and I can trust you fully. I don't have a partner right now. And for me to sit here and say that I know it, it's a contentious thing. Look right back at me and be like, I've been married for 20 years, and who are you to tell me what it's like to be with someone relationally? If we could invite someone to this call, I would. The reason why I think I come off as totally authentic and aligned is because I am.
Yeah.
And this is where actually your question for like unlocked life, or at least the prompt for living an unlocked life, is so profoundly powerful. We'll get into it in just a moment. It's not that life is unlocked in a certain way. It's just in alignment. It's attuned to what's going on in here. So everything feels easeful, and like it's just what's happening in here is what's happening out here.
Yeah.
Just to get real vulnerable real quick about the partner thing. I was in a relationship that was not the right fit for me, and I got out of it. It took a while, to be totally honest. That relationship ended, and there's been a few relationships since. When it's gotten to the point of deepening, I don't think the answer is yes. I had to take time, and I was like, the answer is no. That's really scary. I have to ask myself this powerful question. Am I afraid of commitment on some deep level that I actually haven't explored, and that's why I'm self-sabotaging or saying no? Or am I just way better at listening to myself? And I know the answer is no, and I express the answer is no.
Did you come to it is the second one, or was it a dance between?
Welcome
Is it
to life.
fear, or is it?
It's probably some mix of the two. I've talked to my therapist, coaches, myself about it, and some mix of the two. It's probably some mix of the infinite combination of possibilities that is me, but I am honest about it. I'll be with a person and I'll be like, hey, right now I can say this and this, and I can sit with you for the impact. I can share with you what it's like for me to feel it, and I can hear what it's like for you to feel it. And one of those people, for example, I love tremendously. And she is with another person right now. And I'm not feeling regret or resentment or fear that I missed my chance. So it's a pretty good indication that it was good listening. I will stay in contact with her. And I will continue to connect with her. It just won't be romantic. Unless it is years from now. But right now, no.
I think what you're saying, the biggest learning curve for me, I'm still trying to put it into practice, not just in romantic relationship, but in all of relationships. It feels so scary. And I know it depends on your upbringing and what you're used to. But for me, it was like, can I really be this honest with people and stay for the impact? So not just say it and run off, say it and really be with how it affects them without taking it on as well.
The second part is key. A lot of people, even if they aren't feeling very attuned with themselves, or they're living all sorts of lives, like you're living a life where you drink a lot of alcohol and you go out and you party all the time. You could be living that life and you still feel that impact of, oh, this feels scary, get me away, I don't want to do this. The jump, the leap, is when you can stay with that feeling and you can stay present with that person while you're having that feeling. Lots of people are like, I feel scared of this, let me run away, and they run away, or go drink a lot, or do whatever. But when you can be like, wow, I really adore you, I have lots of love for you, I think I love you, and I feel terrified. What's it like to hear that? You can go back and forth and back and forth. That's kind of like stage 2. If we're doing awareness, acceptance, action, that's like awareness. That's like acceptance. Stage 2, I'm accepting that this feeling is here. I don't know what the outcome could be. I can't control the outcome, but I'm accepting that this feeling's here. And then stage 3 is like, do I want to live with this fear, digest it, continue to be with it? Are you okay living with this fear, continuing to digest it with me? And what do we want to do? And I think that's what some of the healthiest relationships are. There's an incredible, I don't even remember where I saw it, but I saw it on Instagram. And they were questions posed to the couples that I see in couples counseling. A very famous Instagrammer, far more traction than I have, was posing it. And she said, the questions that I ask my partner at night, we ask ourselves 3 things. And it's like, this is what keeps the healthiest relationship. The first question is, do you have any withhold? Is there anything that you want to share with me today that you're scared to share? Did something happen today? Do you have a thought? Is there an action? Do you have a feeling that is in the way of us being fully present with each other? And I think that's great in your romantic partnership, but if you could ask that with anyone, hey, I want to be with you present right now, but I realize I have this judgment of this story, or like, I want to be very present with you, but I'm really distracted by how beautiful you are. And I don't need anything to be done with that, but that's like, whatever the withhold is.
Wow, I can feel fear coming up whenever I hear that. For me, it comes back to this idea of rejection after expression. That when I was young, if I was big with emotions or if I wanted to do something my own way, it had to be done a certain way. These were the rules. This is the way things were done in the house. It was probably programming from my parents, from their parenting. I don't blame them. I'm not angry with them, but I just know that I started to learn how to operate according to what I thought was the right way to do things, or what was acceptable and not acceptable. And yeah, I guess what I learned is that expressing how I felt about someone or what I thought about a situation or what made me upset or angry, my brain was like, nope, that's not going to be acceptable. You know, it's better to figure out what that person wants to hear. And so that has been the unlearning prior to El Salvador, but definitely meeting you, I was like, wow, okay, maybe it's safe to actually express to people. Maybe people won't reject me or get upset or get angry. And I remember, Ashur, one key moment we had done a circling activity, and I remember you came up to me at the end and you were like, I was so angry at you for da, 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 whatever it was. And I remember thinking, okay. And I stayed. And you stayed. Like, yeah, I was so angry with, at you for that. And I still love you. And we're still friends. And it was such a strange moment for me because I had never experienced that in life before, of people expressing and also not attaching the emotion to long-term friendship, long-term relationship, whatever it might have been. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well, but I would love for you to talk on that a little bit.
That makes perfect sense to me. Maria's born, anyone's born, we have 2 core needs. We have a need for attachment and we have a need for authenticity. How can I just be me? As soon as attachment's at risk, we compromise authenticity. Authenticity, we give up before we give up attachment. So Maria wanting to be authentically Maria, if ever thought that was too big because someone else couldn't handle it, you give that up right away in order to maintain attachment. Children are brilliant. You know, if you want to talk about it as like a sympathetic nervous system activation, there's fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. That's the fawn option. More people fawn than know it. Most people don't resort to fighting. More people fawn. Children are brilliant. I am really curious. I do have a question that sparked in me. Are you not mad at your parents? Like, parents gave me conditions where I fawned. Are you not mad at them?
Of course I'm mad at them. I wanted to be mad at the time if you don't get to express your anger. I remember feeling so angry so many times and just going straight into shut it down, cry in my room because the anger had no place to go.
Are you still mad at them?
Sometimes, yes.
And do you love them?
Yes, dearly.
So you're saying you can be mad and love them.
Yeah.
It's the committedness to staying.
Wow.
The invitation I offer is, what if you stay for all of your relations, for that friend, for that person who cuts in front of you in line? What if you stay for them? If you stay, there's the capacity to be angry at them for cutting you in line and to still genuinely wish them the best. You give that to your parents, and maybe you're more angry than forgiving today, or, I don't know. And the only way to maintain both of those is if you stay. What happens most often is I'm angry and I leave. I'm sad and I leave. I'm happy or aroused and then I leave. Then you only get these one-faceted emotions.
Yeah. When you say that's how you keep the balance, you mean that's how you keep this balance of feeling authentic and expressing yourself authentically, and also the attachment piece. Is that
Oh,
what you mean?
that's what Maria did as a child. Now Maria is an adult. So if you feel like attachment is at risk, if you're going to be authentic,
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot more tools available to you. If you are being honest with someone and you feel like they're not going to like you afterwards, you have a whole lot more tools. You can be authentic with them. You can stay for impact. They can be really mad at you, and you can call another friend, or you can call your parent, or you can self-soothe and then co-regulate with someone else. As a kid, you need mom and dad to take care of you. You will be smaller, quieter, more acquiescing, more perfectionistic, whatever it is, in order to keep mom and dad attentive. As an adult, you have other ways to get attachment. Both of those are still core needs. And the only difference is you have more tools available to you as an adult. You don't have to compromise your authenticity so quickly. There are other ways to get attachment.
When that childhood story comes in of it's this or this, I need to keep holding on to this person or else.
This is going to be the segue into unlock life. There's that fear of rejection. If I tell this person fully what I'm feeling, I might be rejected. And then what?
We never let ourselves think that far. It's just so terrifying, but actually, yeah.
Go through it. Imagine having a conversation with someone. Imagine saying the thing to them that you imagine they don't want to hear the very most. And imagine saying it and staying there and inviting them to share what it's like for them. And then you get to share what it's like for you. It's almost like in connection, you can't be mean to someone. You're just sharing what it's like to be you, and they're sharing what it's like to be them. And if at the end of that, you want to run away together and be in love, great. At the end of that, one of you wants that and the other one doesn't, that might hurt a little bit more. Pain hasn't killed most people.
It's the fear of it, really, isn't it? What holds people back?
And that so often you express and then you run away. And that will kill people. You'll have anger, sadness, resentment, pain that is fed when you're alone. It's fed when you take it away or you talk about someone behind their back without telling them what you're experiencing. You just feed that pain instead of it being expressed and digested interpersonally.
No, I love that. It's so simple when you break it down like that. Share, stay, and receive what they're sharing and let them know how that makes you feel. Share again and stay.
Go take care of yourselves too. You might have a really intense conversation with someone and be like, wow, that was really intense. I need to go for a walk in the woods. Is there anything else that you need to share? Got it. I'm going to go for a walk in the woods. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. We'll talk again in an hour, 2 hours, or 2 days. Events that I facilitate, sometimes people are just like, we need our space too. At the end of most of my events, whether it's dancing, authentic relating, or deep circling, I'll ask, is there anything that's left unsaid? And if there's not, it's like asking for that withhold. Those are the things that tear us up because that's compromising our authenticity. The moment where authenticity is compromised is the moment where you start to pay with your vitality, pay with your life. It's okay to take time to yourself. Are you taking time to yourself so you can hide shit? Or are you taking time to yourself so you can allow it to process and move? It's really intense to communicate with people like this.
Oh my God, it is. I remember we did the circle activity and I remember feeling exhausted after it. I imagine it gets less tiring with practice, but that first circle of like, okay, we're all just going to be really honest with each other and see what happens was like, wow. It took that vital energy. It took a lot of vital energy to change a pattern for me. Do you find it gets easier? I also remember Alana, one of the lovely people in our house, how she noticed, she was like, we're all speaking differently now. And that was after maybe our second circle where I noticed we were getting into the rhythm of being more honest, authentic, and open with each other. Do you feel like this is a skill? Does it get easier to be this honest with our words with practice?
You get quicker at it. You get quicker at slowing down. And the adjective I'd almost use is it gets louder when you're lying or when you're not being authentic. It's abundantly clear to me that what I'm thinking is this.
Yeah.
Am I going to say it or not say it? It's up to you each and every time. But it gets louder in your own head. I've gone to get coffee with someone who I don't want to get coffee with. And it was clear to me what I was doing. I made a choice and I know why I made that choice. That choice feels clear to me and I don't have resentment. I don't have anger about it. I chose to compromise this portion of my expression to have attachment with this person.
So we can hear the authentic desire of, I don't want to go for coffee with this person, or I really do want to go for coffee with this person. Then we have choice. Then it's the action piece.
What I really want from an intentional place is attachment and connection with this person. The way that's sought after in this moment is not the way I would choose to do it, but is by having small talk. This person desires small talk and wants regular conversations about what I'm doing in my life, like rather than the deep types of conversations that I'm accustomed to having. But because I desire attachment with this person in my life, like I make that choice. It doesn't keep me up at night.
Because you've intentionally chose it.
Right. I had insomnia for 2 years while I was being dishonest with myself and with others. I knew why, because I knew the answer. The answer is loud and clear in my head that I don't want to be here. This isn't the right fit.
I'd love for you to move into that unlocked life piece.
When you sent me that question preemptively, and I was like, oh my God, Maria's onto something. I love the framing. I work with a lot of high performers, high achievers, people who are like, unlock your first 10K this month. I have powerful conversations with them where I'm like, why? And they're like, what do you mean, your first 10K? And I'm like, yeah, why? Why do you want that? When I hear unlocked life, there's almost 2 ways that I think of it. One of them is like, high performers, unlock your first 10K, like live your dream life, like be on a yacht. And that's great. The other one, the one that I feel I live, is it's not that I have unlocked wild secrets. There just is no longer obstacle or blockage between my inner being and the way I am outside. I have not overcome jealousy, pettiness, loneliness, desire. Like those are all there, but I feel them. I let them be there fully. I don't blame anyone else for them. And so I don't feel, there's not friction in me. If you ever want to see something silly, you should see me at a bar. I don't really drink. I go to bars when friends want to go to bars, which is not very often. But when I go, I basically just stand there. I'm mostly content. Someone might talk to me, I'll be like, how are you? And like, they'll give me some quick answer and I'll be like, oh, that answer sounds kind of dissatisfying. What's exciting for you? I want something to grab onto.
Tell me.
So I'll be with this person. It doesn't happen. And I'm just like, okay. I have nothing to fake. Someone will be like, how are you? And I'll be like, well, I'm relatively bored and I don't know how to have any conversation with anyone here. I feel a little lonely. I see all these people having what looks like engaged conversation. I have a story about their conversation and I want it. People would be like, okay, I'm gonna walk over here and talk about sports or something. So the unlocked life for me is just being fully expressed with what you're experiencing, being in connection with that, and translating that to the outside world to ask for it. If you want attachment, it's asking for attachment. If you want connection, if you want honesty, it's asking for it. That's what the key is in my mind, the unlock.
Yeah, I have a thought on that. What really comes up for me is the attachment. Enjoy my life. I feel like I'm living my unlocked life and I know it's going to continue to unlock further. At the same time, I often think life is so good and I feel a yearning to experience this with someone else. I would love to have that paired experience of life, of activities, of travel. And so, yeah, it's ultimately a feeling of attachment. I would love to feel that in a healthy way. When you said, you know, what it is that you want, attachment, connection, adventure, whatever it might be, can we actually feel it and ask for it? My mind immediately went to, no, we can't ask for attachment because I'm meant to feel fully whole on my own first. If I'm not, then I'm needy, or then it's like I'm seeking it too much from someone else. That's probably the same story of then being afraid to be honest about that desire to be attached to someone, to be connected to someone. I'd love for you to speak on that whole be whole, don't seek it outside of other people, but also ask the world for what you want.
There's a way to perceive it as an obstacle and an opportunity. I want connection can either be I don't have connection, or it can be like I'm open, like I'm looking for it. So there's one where it's an obstacle or an opportunity, and that's literally just a perceptual shift. You get to choose the one that you want. Don't push away the sadness if it's there, present for whatever it is. If you want something and ask for it and it doesn't arrive, you can be sad, be with that. Be with each feeling as it's coming. The first step is slow down. Second step is ask yourself what you're experiencing. Is it coming out of need? And if it's coming out of need, what's that like? Often if you sit with need, you're like, oh shit, I'm probably really afraid. Yeah. When it feels off balance is when someone's like, they're pretending that they're all good, but I'm just looking for partnership and I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. And I'm all good. I'm great on my own. What's beneath that? Maybe there's a degree of urgency you can feel. Okay, if you're going to share, don't share about the urgency yet. Go one deeper. What's beneath that? Fear. What's beneath that? Sad.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe share, how are you doing? Well, I notice I feel pretty sad that I don't have a partner at the moment. It's like when you share at the deepest cut, you can share it with groundedness. The thing that comes off really loud to me is when someone is sharing as if everything's great, and right beneath that, you can hear the need and the urgency. Mm-hmm. Sharing with urgency, sharing with that neediness is not appealing. It's not attractive. Sharing what is happening for you without the need for someone to fix it, simply to be heard, I find incredibly attractive. I don't necessarily mean sexually attractive. I just mean appealing in a humanistic way. If someone comes up to me and they're like, man, I feel sad and I feel afraid that I may not ever have the deep partnership that I desire, I get to be like, what's that? Like, I really hear you. Versus someone comes up to me and they're like, I'm doing great. I'm just looking for that perfect divine feminine to walk into my life tomorrow. And then they're at home on dating apps, scrolling, looking for the divine feminine on Bumble or Tinder nonstop. It's probably the wrong energy. One of them is feigning, it's masking what's there and therefore allowing whatever's just beneath the surface to boil. Imagine if you have a pot boiling. If you leave the pot on, it starts to lift the lid. If you have rice boiling, you leave the lid on.
The foam.
No, everything's fine, everything's fine. But if you take the pot off, you take the lid off, what's there? There's sadness and there's fear. My fear feels very, very direct. I have a desire for partnership with a very high standard, and I am scared that I will die alone without finding that. That fear is like there, and it gets to be there, and I get to be like, yeah, no, I feel afraid. That's still what I choose. I choose to not compromise. Yeah, that's still what I'm choosing. To maintain that high standard, to look for that person. One day that would change. I don't know.
What I can hear is that whenever we don't allow ourselves to really dig into, it's so grounded because there's nothing beneath it, nothing hiding that. It is the core of all of the masks we layer on top.
Did I exert anything on you when I said, Maria, I experienced a lot of anger when you did that thing, and I love you unconditionally? Or I didn't even have to say the love part. When I just express, I'm experiencing anger, there's nothing beneath it. There's not a need for you to do anything about it. There's not a need for you to fix it. There's not an expectation that you will. There's an expression of who I am, of what I'm experiencing. It doesn't come with hooks. The hooks are what we feel from people. When someone says something to you with that urgency or that need, and it's because the hook just comes when there's a covert need, when there's something beneath the surface. When there's nothing beneath it. There's no hooks.
When we don't get their ground level emotion of why it's here, the very bottom floor, whenever we don't get an insight into that, that's what leads to the confusion and the push and the pull. Is there anything that you would love to expand on in terms of your unlocked life, Ashur, in terms of your journey of how this unlocked life has come to be now, what that looks like for you now?
One of the things that I keep thinking about is, how do I express what I'm experiencing without attachment to how someone will receive it? The first step, I just want to emphasize this a lot, is be with yourself and get really clear on what you're experiencing. Otherwise, it comes out all messy. Get clear with yourself. Yeah. I got me. Now I get to tell you. And then I wait to see what it's like to be you. And then it's all about your experience of it. If I need you to ground me, or if I need something from you, then of course I'm going to be terrified of how you respond. If my identity is dependent on how you perceive me, of course I'm going to be terrified sharing anything with you. But if my identity is defined by how I perceive me, then I get to tell you what it's like to be me. You get to tell me what it's like to be you. Then all of a sudden, what's happening is happening between us, not about what Maria is saying or about what Ashur is saying. Be clear about what's happening in you.
What leads to that unlocking, that fluidity, that flow that you talked about is how close can you get to yourself? And from that place, breathe to actually
Share with
express
another.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms,
And it's slow down. Slow down.
yeah.
Everyone, slow down.
My final question, Ashur, is in terms of practical tips for people here listening who've never done the circle, who've never been in your space. When you say be with yourself, get to know how you feel, practically, what does that look like? Does it mean being alone more? Does it mean like writing, journaling, go for walks? Or like practically, what can people do to start getting into this idea?
Slow down.
What does that mean?
Step one, someone says something to you. Take 3 breaths before answering. It might look weird in that moment, but that practice is worth it.
Yeah.
So someone says something to you, instead of it hitting you here, let it hit you here and say, oh, they just said a thing. How do I feel about that? When you're in a contentious conversation or difficult conversation, often someone says something and we allow it to hit us on the chest. We allow us to hit us directly on the body and guide us. Oh, they're upset. I should respond this way. Oh, they need something of me. Let me respond this way. Instead, imagine that there's a bubble, maybe 8 inches in front of you. And imagine that what they're sharing lands on the bubble and you get to read it from there. If you're having an intense conversation with a partner and they're asking you, are you ready to have kids? Instead of it hitting you on the chest and say, what do they want? How do they want me to answer? How can I look good? How can I answer right for them? Land on the bubble, read it. Am I ready to have kids?
That's when you take the time, the breath.
When I read that on my bubble, I notice I feel nervous.
Yeah.
Feel warmth and love for this person, or I feel total coldness and I don't want to answer the person and I want to run away. So notice what you feel and then respond slowly or ask for more space and time. If a partner asks you if you're ready to have kids and your answer is, oh my God, I'm terrified of that, and I don't feel warmth to this person, and I don't feel open to this person, I invite you to ask for more time to answer that question. Maybe investigate your relationship. It's okay to feel fear, but if you feel coldness towards that person, there might be something deeper to explore. The other thing I'll say, slow down, take a moment before responding. This bubble imagery works amazingly. You create the space for whatever the answer is. We all have voices that talk to us when something happens. If someone comes up and rests their hand on your shoulder, we all have the fundamental base, crude, direct, raw response that says, get closer to me, get further away. Right now, people are listening to my voice over this podcast or seeing my face. And there are probably some people out there that are like, I like him. And there are probably people out there that's like, shut the fuck up.
Can't help it because that is, as you say, the raw data.
That doesn't mean act from that place, but it does mean listen. This is where the slowing down comes into play as well. Notice what you're experiencing with me. Trust your sensations and reveal them to me. Or if you don't know me or you don't want to, that's fine, but trust in them and then review them. When Ashur was talking, I wanted him to get away from me. What is that? Do I not trust him? I'm nervous around him. Like, what is the thing that happened? Don't get too in your head. Don't get too analytical about what does that thing mean, but trust that that's pointing at something. It might point that you have something to share with me that would feel really, really good. Or it might trust that you literally just don't want to be around me. It might point to not wanting to be around me, but like, trust it. So I'll sum all that up. Number 1, slow down. Slow down in every way. Slow down to listen to yourself. Slow down to truly listen to others. Number 2, try the bubble imagery. If you're in a contentious conversation, if you're having an intense interaction, imagine that what someone says to you lands on a bubble in front of you, maybe 8 to 12 inches in front of you. And from there, you can review it, notice how you feel, and express from that place. Number 3, notice your sensation and trust that they are sound indicators. You don't need to act from that place. But just notice being around someone. You notice you want to be with them more. You want to be with them less. You trust them. You don't trust them. You want to be closer. You want to be further away. Notice that and trust that it is your body communicating to you. Don't act from that place necessarily because that can be encoded. You might see my face and it reminds you of a previous partner. and you might have this triggered response.
Yeah.
Notice, wow, okay, there's something undigested about that partner.
That last part about trusting it, I think we all feel it. The pull or push around people. My own experience of being so in my mind about it, trying to understand, oh, well, maybe I'm just not trusting my body. As you say, not to make any hasty decisions around that because it could be unrelated to that person, but just giving it the attention that it's asking for and acknowledging it. I think it's so cool.
Especially for women in romantic settings. If someone's talking to you and you're not interested, instead of getting all nervous, notice the answer is no with this person. Trust that the answer is no with good reason.
Yeah.
And you can enforce that no from that grounded place by sharing your ground level experience.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being like, no, get away from me. You can just be like, no, the answer is no. I don't want to go somewhere alone with you. The no is. The fourth opportunity, call me and let's chat.
Yeah. Well, that sort of links into what I was just about to ask. Do you feel, Ashur, that there are many people in your community that have also really nailed this 4-step, 3-step process? Or do you feel like you are sort of leading the way on your own? And I'm just curious if this is normal in your life. It's not normal around here where I'm from anyway. I would love for it to get more normal, and it definitely is. But in your world, your community.
I am definitely not the only one. I demand very high standards of the people in my life. So I have a lot of people in my life who can hold that space. If they ask me something and I'm like, hold on. I noticed your question really put me on edge. And I noticed I'm sweating more. I think I need a minute to answer your question. They'll be like, okay. But that's because I've demanded that. There are definitely people who are far ahead of me too, who I learn from. The thing I really want to answer in your question is you said it's not the norm in your world. You can make it the norm.
Yeah.
At least in your world by demanding it of people around you.
How I act, how I use those steps will always impact the people that are on the receiving end.
Here's an exercise for everyone. You're walking with someone, or you're standing in your kitchen chatting, and you notice they say something or you say something, and you notice that something shifts. Maybe they take too long to answer, maybe they hesitate, maybe there's just a shift in the cadence. This happens all the time, and we ignore it. And what if this time you just say, hey, I noticed something felt a little bit different there. What happened? Open the space for what happened.
And if you're met with nothing, the answer is nothing. They don't want to meet you there with that sort of like, let's talk about it, or how do you respond to that?
Hey, Maria, I noticed something shifted in the conversation there. What happened for you?
Nothing. I don't know what you mean.
Huh. Interesting. For me, we were talking and then all of a sudden I noticed it seemed like there was a delay, and I noticed that my body kind of twitched, and I noticed that it just felt like the energy shifted. Like maybe there was less excitement about being here. Does that feel at all resonant to you? Did that happen for you at all?
Maybe a wee bit, but doesn't grand.
You know, people look for the bit. Having that conversation might shift the energy.
Yeah, I can even see even you asking the second time round, it's like there's a softness there of, oh, maybe I could acknowledge this a little bit more and see where the conversation goes.
Or even just being invited to pause and ask what's going on. Think how rare it is to have a moment of self-reflection, period. Think of your day today. It's what, 4 p.m. for you in Ireland. It's 9 a.m. Arrive at the end of your day. Anyone who's listening to this, simply reflect. How many times today did I reflect on what it was like to be me in a moment? And the answer is often zero. 0 moments spent noticing what it's like to be me in this moment. By asking someone what happened for them, you are inviting that moment. And for some people, it might have been 20 years since they had a moment of self-reflection. The question, I'll just repeat it, what is it like to be me? Or I could ask you, what is it like to be Maria now?
Wow.
Just inviting in that self-reflection for yourself or others is like, even if they say nothing, I don't know, fine. Ask again. What's fine? Well, what do you mean? Okay. I can tell you what it's like to be me.
Mhm.
That's all. And then go on with the conversation.
But offer the opportunity is what you're saying.
Hmm.
Great. Class.
You might lose friends though. People might get offended.
Yeah, yeah, I
Ask
can
you too many
imagine that
deep
as
questions.
well. Mm.
I'll say one more thing because it just occurs to me right now. I'm doing a tremendous amount of outreach right now for the Life Blueprint system. And I am sending messages to people who I went to high school with. I'm 35. I'm looking to get more traction on the social media side and asking them to follow me and share what's going on with them. There are stories about what it means to reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in 20 years because of how they might feel about being reached out to. It's
Oh.
not a problem for me to reach out after 20 years and say, hey, it's been 20 years. How's your life? I'd love for you to follow me on social media. Some people have responded like, we haven't spoken in 20 years. And I'm like, that's true. What's it like?
Just opening it up
It-
again.
And if they're upset with that, then I can genuinely get curious about, yeah, what's that like? What are you upset about? I'll ask, like, did you want to talk to me in the last 20 years? If you did, why didn't you call?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll often get a response that's like, you didn't want to talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't really occur to me. And now it occurs to me to talk to you for this. If that's upsetting to you, you don't need to follow me. You don't need to do any of the things. It gives this rare moment for actually you feel hurt because you feel like I'm only reaching out to you when I need something from you. That seems to be the case at the moment. Let's explore that hurt genuinely in this moment. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this hurt feels really big. And it's not about you. If it was about me, they would have called me 15 years ago.
This is all just sharing how things are for you, what you're feeling in the moment, that base level without fear of how it's going to be received.
The program I'm in now, they use the language of the deepest cut. Share from
Yeah.
the deepest cut because you can feel it. If
You
you
can feel how
say I'm
tender it
angry,
is. Yeah.
and then you go just below that and they're like, what's beneath the anger? And you're like, oh, I feel afraid. Is there anything beneath the fear? Like there's often sadness beneath the
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. I'm sure. Thank you so much. I would love for you to tell a little bit on the blueprint before we finish up.
I feel so excited to be offering this. I work as a connection coach, one-on-one with individuals and couples, and I facilitate in groups. I do the embodiment workshop and authentic relating. So if you have a retreat, if you have an event, and you're looking for a facilitator, I'd love to be in touch. But now I'm really excited on the group side to offer the Life Blueprint System. It's a group accountability program. We ask you, what is your unlocked life? Then I sit with you in the intense portion where it's like, what is my unlocked life? We get you clear. Then we give you community support with 3 coaching calls each week. And then we help you take proper action. What is the thing I need to do to move me closer to that? And then we hold you accountable. Each week we have 3 calls. It begins with the foundation call, this really powerful 2-hour container where we get you really clear on what you want in your life. Right now we have a 7-day free trial and a challenge coming up pretty soon. It'll be on my Instagram, probably mid-June, and it'll come with a 7-day free trial. So in that 1 week, we ask you what you desire most, and we guarantee you to get there by the end of the week, or we continue to work with you for free. The Life Blueprint System.
Love it.
On
Yeah,
Instagram.
it's similar to that concept of it's possible, the vision and what's holding you back. Thank you so much. I've loved that. Any final words, Ashur?
I just have to say, Maria, you are a delight. I adore having met you, and the willingness to step up and be with what you were experiencing and express it was like more ferocious, more present, more like forceful. Not in a bad way. There was just like energy behind it. Most people I work with take coaching, especially women and men express very differently. Women are typically more in touch with what they're feeling, but much softer. It really takes coaxing. No, it's safe.
Yeah.
But said, here's the invitation. And you were like, boom. boom.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
It's just been a delight to work with you and see like a real delight.
Thank you. Oh, likewise, I'm so glad that we met and that you've been able to give so much value to people listening to this episode. And hopefully you've got loads from it. I'm going to link everything under the show notes about Ashur, about how to connect with him, about the mastermind that I'm running for women who are looking for a smaller space to move through, very similar to what Ashur's talking about, that authentic expression and the fears and the blocks. Thank you for listening.